And welcome to Spartans at the Spice. We joined here by my buddy, Jason Williams, my good coaching friend right here. Coach Williams, oh man, the Spartans have had some tough luck here right now. You're probably a break away, one or two possessions away here, your first four conference games of being 4-0.
Yep.
But you know what? The law of averages will catch up with you. You still got a lot of season left. The main thing, the money time is when you get into that tournament the 1st of March. And basically this right now, everybody wants to win every game though.
Yep.
But it's learning and getting ready to play for that 3 or 4 game period in March is when I call it money time right there though. But just talk a little bit about what you've seen, from your team. Again, you played really well here in conference play, but you hadn't had any luck.
Yeah, our ability to be able to not just finish games, but just be like we've given our kids like 3 different bullet points that we got to be consistent at. One of them is poise, one of them is resiliency, one of them is consistency. And so, what do you do in moments to where you've got to be able to run your sets and stay true to your standard in general? Like, how do you show poise in situations, and be able to go with a shot 10 seconds and under? How do you show resiliency when the other team is making a run? We call resiliency choosing the hard right and doing the right thing in that play that's going to benefit the team, and how do you be consistent in being able to the mundane, like being able to just go to a 7-point lead and just continue to keep grinding out the small things and small habits that I got to be able to do to extend that 7-point lead to 10 points to 15 points. And, our team's growing daily, and it's been really fun to be able to focus on the positive portion of it, of the process that we are doing, not the result that we are getting right now currently, because our team is playing better and better and better in basketball as the conference slate has happened. We just haven't had the result that's necessary. And so, if we continue this trend upward, we will then finish, eventually get, the right result that we're looking for as long as we stay process-oriented.
Okay. And the big thing right now is every time you go on the court, is a learning process.
Yes.
What do you feel like that through the adversity that you faced over these last few games, these first 4 conference games, what do you think that you've learned about your team, and what do you think your team has learned from these games?
I hope the ability that they can count on each other. You know what I mean? And at any point in time, I can look to my teammate and trust that at the end of the day, they're going to be there for me. They're going to work as hard as humanly possible to do their job consistently. And at the end of the day, we are a group and a family and in this together for the good and the bad. And so it's been fun to be able to watch our group kind of just grow together as a whole and just be really, 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 really connected from 1 through 15. And it hurts to be able to walk in that locker room and be, lose a 2-point basketball game when we should have been up the entire time. But that's the result portion of it. The process portion of it for me has been hey, we did some really good things for long periods of stretches. Now, how do you grow up a little bit and really, really get that killer instinct to put teams away? How do you put teams away and be able to extend that lead so it's not even remotely close? Because, the last couple of basketball games, we've been really good for long stretches.
You have. You sure have, though. And, I mean, you go back to the game with Gardner Webb. You led 37 minutes in that game right there.
Yep.
And that's what is so hard. And I should have called you Wednesday night because I think we both were up at 4 a.m., though. That again, this is – you're my team right there, and I hurt for you.
Yeah.
Just as much as I did when I coached. Watching your kids. I felt for your kids that night. I felt like the basketball gods were not good to you last week at all right there. And it's so hard. But the thing you got to look at, the good Lord has something bigger and better in store for you. Mm-hmm. And he don't care who wins the games or not.
No, he does not.
He doesn't pick. He doesn't have a favorite team, unlike me. My green and black and all like that, though.
Yep.
He just wants to see us go out and play and glorify him.
Without a doubt. And it is pretty cool. The sermon this weekend talked about the wheat and the weeds and how the sower had great seed to be able to plant. And at night, somebody planted weeds in his field. But as both were growing, they both were growing into the garden consistently. And the owner of the field told him, hey, don't kill the weeds, because if you pull the weeds, you're going to pull the actual, the real wheat out of the ground as well, right? And then the passage was, for us, was to not get distracted. while things are growing in both simultaneous portions, the good and the bad, you can't pull the weeds and then get rid of the actual wheat. You can't get distracted and solely focus on one versus the other, right? And so for us, it's just staying the course. It's just being able to look at where we're at and the growth that we have and continue to look at the positive portion of where we're going and going to be.
How have your kids, again, I'll be honest, I've been through some situations like this right here. I know how hard it is, but how have they responded and all to, I wondered the other night after the tough Winthrop loss, how they would respond, and sometimes it can linger and carry on. But how have they responded to the adversity or the bad things that happen?
Really well, because you saw how we walked out in the Gardner Webb.
God, yeah.
Like they were gangbusters, man, and have every single time, like I keep pushing the tempo for them, they keep responding, and I'm very blessed to have a really good responsive group right now that is handling adversity really, really well. You know what I mean? We're not getting the results that we want right now, but there's no back down, there's no quit, and we're not ducking any smoke consistently. And I love that about my group, and they're ready to rock and roll and walk into Wednesday's opportunity and be able to do the exact same thing. And for us, that's the group I want. You know what I mean? That's the group of kids that I want to have my back consistently, that's going to come here and continue to keep working and grinding.
And again, you've got a great group of people, young ladies to work with that I enjoyed so much talking last week with Vera. I learned some things from her. I didn't know her mother had been on Survivor twice.
Yeah.
And her brother was, and she wants to be on this. She said when she's not playing basketball, she wants to be on Survivor.
It does not surprise
I
me.
learned that, and her brother plays goalie on the hockey team,
Yep.
NHL or something like that, though, and all. But because I was giving her a hard time, I said, Vera, can you shoot a 3-point shot? I said, I want you to make a goal for your senior year. I said, because they're leaving you wide open out there. I said, I used to teach my five-man had a green light to shoot any open three at the top of the circle.
Yep.
That I taught them how to shoot it. I said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And so the thing right there, I said, they are leaving you wide open. They're leaving you wide open, and you're not even looking at the basket right there, though. So my challenge to her was, by her senior year, was to be able to shoot out, pop that three, that open shot with her right there. And she was really good, and this is the positive things, that she had to say, though. But just your girls you've got are not only, good players, but they are great representatives. And they just brought them some Savaki. They're going to love that.
Yeah, the Savaki's really good.
Do her. Oh, it was kind of, that is good. You will love that. That is really steak.
Yeah, it's really good. If you don't want it, I'll take it.
It was funny when I had Broom here for one of their players. We had a player from Germany that was over here, and they told him that was possum.
Yeah.
And he believed it. It had him believing it was possum.
Out here in the South, you never know, man.
You never know.
What I mean? They'll fry anything or cook anything.
Because after he ate it, he liked it, and he kind of said, that's possum, don't you? And then finally he went up there and asked one of the girls up there about it, though, when they let him off. The coaches and players that gave him fits on that, though. So, all right, you've got coming up this week, you have got PC.
Yep.
And that is a team right now. You're going to be back home again.
Yep.
And, again, this is a game that, that I won't say you need to get things a chance to get healthy.
Yes.
This week,
yes.
Right there, to get things back on track.
Yep.
Right there. What have you seen in watching the film from PC on what they're going to try to do?
Man, today was all about us. Like, we walked into practice today, and I purposely was not focused on any PC stuff at all. I wanted to be able to get us into some confidence and rhythm. We had all 5 of our scout guys there today running the Presbyterian.
So you have highlighters, too.
We do.
They're green lighters.
They're green lighters for us, man. They're
I
awesome.
wondered about that. That's going to be my questions for you.
Yeah, one of them sitting right there, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
Can I be a green lighter?
Without a doubt. Come
all
out
right.
there and let it fly, brother. Let it fly, man. And today was all about us and how do we pick up our tempo? How do we execute our stuff? How do we stay in our stuff? And then how do we then continue to keep momentum and then be able to stop momentum? So I'm trying to give our kids different adages and portions of the basketball game where they got to be able to really, really think and navigate it on their own, without having me call a timeout and navigate it themselves. And then so today was an awesome, awesome day of just competition, for an hour and a half to be able to get in and get after it a little bit. Both green and white groups just play against our scout guys and be able to execute our stuff. And for me to be able to stop, talk, and teach, and then put our kids in the proper position to be successful.
Well, that was, thing like that. I figured you probably were working some on end of the game situations maybe today and doing some things like that. But we, back in the day that we used to have little things where we do spend 5-10 minutes of practice that we'd set it up where put so many seconds on the clock, and on the way down, we'd have a set play that we would line up and run, and they knew to run. And it was like if we were in Kansas or Oklahoma or something like that we practice every day is what we would do. As a part of our pregame stuff, we'd run a 5-man weave down, set play back, and stuff like that. So that they would know on the fly where we would set up those end of the game situations and all those. So, but, just the things right there, what you're doing, that was probably a big thing of what to try to get them mentally focused back on that.
Yeah, just with execution as a whole, and our group to be able to just get into proper positions, what we're looking for, and the reads that we're looking for. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be late game situations for us. It just has to be during the ebbs and flows of a game. You turn the basketball over twice, and then what do you do in possession number 3 offensively for us on that side of the floor? How do you get into late clock? How do you get into good reads? And what is that management of just the overall arching basketball game? And how do you have a long memory in terms of what's happened beforehand, but a short memory in terms of what I need to be able to do next?
Well, it was my Saturday was an interesting day. I watched 5 games on TV Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Whether it be football or basketball.
That's a great Saturday.
And all 5 of the teams I was pulling for lost.
Oh, really? Goodness gracious.
And unfortunately, 4 of the 5 had the lead, and it slipped away at the end.
Yep.
That's another one of those nights I didn't sleep good on there, though. But I used to, it was kind of neat, and I've got it used to have a big picture in my office when I coached, and it's at home and on my man cave right now. And you wouldn't like this because it was a picture of Larry Bird out there on the court.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan. Sorry.
And it said, some people fear the last shot, others love for it.
Yep.
And it was one. That's kind of been the one. You got to want somebody on the team's got to want to be the one to step up and make the big shot for you. And I'm sure you probably are looking for that person at this point right now who's going to say, take the ball, give me the ball, I want it. I'm going to go win this game for us.
Yeah, and eventually, like we've had shot attempts that have been in the right spots, in the right places, and then they just have not gone in. You know what I'm saying? By great shooters in a lot of different positions. And so, like, our ability to not consistently think of, like, man, I missed that shot or made that shot. I got to shoot it during any time of the game. If it's we call it 10s or your 7s, 8s, and 9s, your high-quality possessions that you shoot on a regular basis, you got to let it go and be confident and not second-guess yourself consistently. And so that's what we got to be able to do.
And again, those players that when the other team is making that comeback or that run is, I want the ball. I want the ball. And that's when with the players, and I'm sure you may have somebody in mind and all like that, but that's where that person's got to have that mentality.
Yep. Be aggressive constantly and being aggressive in what we do and how we do it.
Okay. All right. And looking at, I know you haven't practiced against it, but in looking at the film on PC, what have you seen about them? What are they going to try to do?
Man, they drive the basketball consistently. They run a little like 1-4 high sets where they're looking to be able to get their bigs on the block and then get their drivers coming off of down screens. And so can we stay in front? Can we then be able to protect the rim and get into proper rotations is going to be huge for us. And so, like, against Gardner-Webb, we missed a couple of rotations late. That's kind of on us to be able to be aware in the situation of, like, your role. Am I stepping up? Am I dropping? Or do I have the first pass out? And so can we consistently do that, a really good job of protecting the paint? And then the other thing for us is we got to dominate the glass. Like, that's been a thing that we've done a pretty decent job of thus far. I think we're plus 10 in our Big South. And so I think we lead the Big South in rebound margin. But I think we need to also, like, extend that out a little bit as well. You know what I'm saying? And so can it be 15, 18, 19 points? Because, like, at the end of the day, Asia Renee Palmore over there does a phenomenal job on rebounding the basketball. And can she go and get 6 easy buckets for us consistently and do a great job on the glass? And she's a walking double-double walking in the door. You know what I mean?
I put her on the board of directors. She's one of the boards. She's one of the Windex ladies. Keeps
Without
the
a
glass
doubt.
clean. Her and Vera's the chairman of the board.
Without a doubt.
And
They keep
she's
it
on the
super
board
clean.
of directors right there. And she's going to be one of my Windex ladies right there.
Yep.
With that though, but
Yeah.
that's really important. But what I thought really you did a good job of the game with Winthrop was when you mixed it in and you played some zone.
Yeah.
And they couldn't make a three.
Yep.
They could not. They were. I had never seen a team that was hitting the off the bounce jump shots. They were taking it and pulling it up like that this year. They
Yeah.
kept knocking those downs, but when you
Yeah.
went zone, they couldn't.
Yeah.
And they had to shoot a three.
Yeah.
They couldn't make a three. They were like 1 out of 13, I
Yep.
think, at one point.
Yep. But we try to stay zoned for as long as humanly possible, and then, that pull-up jump shot of theirs, and it was contested multiple
They
times.
were.
And
They were.
It was like
It's like, how did she make that? How did she do that?
How did she see the rim? You know what I mean? But and for us, our ability to be able to know that we did everything we humanly could in that situation to be able to contest and not necessarily be solely focused on them making the shot, but us doing the right thing. And then, because at the end of the day, if we continue to do the right things, the right result will then be the product of what we do. You know what I mean? And to be able to put our confidence in doing the right thing has to be something that our kids constantly lean on, look for, and seek out regularly.
Just talk a little bit about what you have seen as far as the improvements of this team. And I know you had to make some tough decisions right there, and that I think you've got this young lady has gone in and found her niche in the starting lineup and doing things.
Yeah.
And you had a senior that I talked to last week that I thought was very good and understands her role, a senior player, that her minutes have been reduced a lot now. Mm-hmm. And she looks at it, her role is that she's going to be the encourager, she's going to be the leader and stuff like that. But just some of the players, that roles changed after your non-conference schedule in a lot of ways.
Yeah. They have to. You know what I mean? You've got to dwindle down the roster a little bit and be okay with going 8, 9, maybe 10 deep on a regular day, just so people can get in a flow. But yet at the end of the day, like I tell our kids all the time, value is different. Like everybody is valued in this program. Everybody has significant value in this program. You may not have the same contribution on the floor, but you will all have the same value. So like what energy you bring, what communication you bring, all bring us to a championship level like opportunity. And if you do that and you value that really, really well, then at the end of the day, we have a chance to be pretty gosh darn good. You know what I'm saying? And so like some days it may be your night, some days it may not.
Okay, how do you, and this was when I was scouting you, my scouting report against y'all right now.
Yep.
Your guards look scared to death when the pressure, full court pressure or something comes. How do you get them to relax and to not really look like a deer in headlights when a team comes and picks them up full court or trying to trap them?
Man, it's just the ability to be able to then just be poised and confident and know your outlets before the action actually happens. And so the better that I am put in that situation to be able to have that pressure and know that at the end of the day what my situation and reads are, the easier then life becomes. And for us, it's just a matter of being into just different reads and being in those constant situations over and over and over again. And when you really look at the group, like 8 out of the 10 are sophomores or freshmen.
They're young.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, like these are babies going out
They
there
are.
and seeing the lights for the first time and the trapping and all the things in general. And so like and the cool part is you can see them progressively get better and better and better and better and better. And that's the reason why we've had a pretty good stretch here a little bit and haven't really closed the door in terms of finishing games. But yet their ability to now make reads in those situations that is astronomical. And then don't let this group figure it out. Because if this group figures it out, like it's really, really trouble for the Big South because there's a lot of talent in that locker room that's going to be really, really gosh darn good once they be able to play all 5 together as a group and as a whole. And it's just a matter of time if they can cut out the noise on the outside and continue to work together as a group.
It's big because I've seen the improvement she's made on turnovers.
Oh,
she was,
1000%.
I was going to name her Hardy's with the turnovers. She has more turnovers than Hardy's there, but she has really come a long way. And I think that one right there would be your most improved player from the beginning of the year to here right now.
Oh,
though.
without a doubt.
But what I used to throw, and this was something that was really big, when I knew we were going to play a team that press and trap the living daylights out of us, that on the show team, I put 6 players on defense.
Yeah.
And they had to work against an extra player that would be in that normal passing lane and like that. And I would really get cantankerous on some days and would put 6 out there and tell them they had to get it up the floor and you couldn't dribble.
Yeah.
And make them pass it up there. So when we got to the game, that if you can do it against 6, it's a piece of cake doing it against 5.
Yeah.
That pressing teams really never gave us any trouble there, though. But I know what you're saying right there, how hard it is when you've got young players out there and that pressure comes they're not used to, that it's like having a deer in headlights.
Yep. And you can start to see Gwen Jenkins start to settle down into her role a little bit now as PG going into second semester, and she had a really good game against Gardner Webb and did some really good things. And, like, you know what I mean? And it's just a matter of, like, I'm going to keep saying it, this microwave society, like, you've got to be able to give these kids and some of these people some time to be able to grow into their role and figure out life. You know what I'm saying? If, like, you know, and our staff has done a phenomenal job with the growth and development of our kids on a regular basis and seeing what they can do and amplifying that on a day-to-day basis and being consistent with our communication, our positive energy that we're going to bring, and our development. And that is what we hold our hat on here at Upstate.
And again, I'll be honest on this right here, that you probably, you know, going into the season, I thought that you were going to have a potential Big South point guard, all-conference point guard, and all, and it didn't work out that way. And you're having to break in some new players out there, and it's going to take them a little time to learn their roles right there.
Yeah, 1,000%. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of how it goes a little bit. And so, you know, with the transfer portal and how everything's working. So as the transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal to take away.
All righty. What is the biggest thing that you would like to see this team improve of going into this week? And then we'll talk next week about what's going to be the improvements for the next week. What do you want to see this team accomplish this week?
This week, I really want to see us be able to stay aggressive in our stuff. You know what I mean? And know that at the end of the day, we do a really good job of getting a paint touch and a ball reversal and a possession. We are really good offensively. And then for us to be able to utilize the paint touches consistently, to be able to get in the paint with a 2-foot jump stop on the dribble drive, and then also utilize our post players, because our post players are really gosh darn good. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to add that to the shooting that we have, now that it puts us in a different echelon that other people can't mess with, because they don't have that size and ability and skill that we also have both inside and out. And it's learning how to be able to play with that relationship and for and with each other that is really, really difficult, that a lot of people don't really understand. Like, playing with a true big post player on that block as I am a shooter is a different, like, type of dynamic. And the more that we can kind of coerce that opportunity to be able to do really well, we're going to be really, really tough down the stretch. And they're really starting to figure out that ebbs and flows of how that works in a basketball game. And if we can do, like, those things, get some paint touches with the dribble drive, some post entry feeds, and stay in our stuff, I'm really, really excited. And then clean up that glass. Like, we got to be able to go plus 10, plus 15 on that boards, because that puts us in transition so we can play.
Well, I'm going to have my coin out this week. I'm going to have my socks out this week. And again, I've got a good feeling that something good's going to happen to these girls. They have really been through a tough time here. 2026 has not been good to them at this point right now. But again, good things, you know, hang in there. The good Lord's got something bigger and better in store for them. Just hang in there and keep working.
Yeah, we got to just keep our heads to the grindstone here a little bit, man, and continue to keep doing what we do. Like, we'll be perfectly fine. I got all the faith in the world in our kids.
Well, I look forward to talking to you about all the good things that's going to happen this week, next week then.
Without a doubt.
Jason Williams, one of my favorite coaches here, talking. It's the Spartans at the Spice here on a Monday night, and we've got a couple of his young ladies coming up next. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure.